So that's it? What, we some kind of suicide squad?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on, guys? So I just saw The Suicide Squad, not the awful 2016 one that came out 5 years ago.
You are my guests to this handsome hunka.
No, this new one is coming from James Gunn, who's mostly known for his Guardians of the Galaxy films. And yeah, it was pretty great. So if you didn't know already, in 2018, Disney fired James from Marvel after the knowledge of his offensive tweets he did like years ago. So DC came through and was like,
"Hey James, come and make a movie for us, and we will let you make whatever you want. You can have The Flash, Wonder Woman, Batman, or even Superman if you want."
Okay. I want to do the Suicide Squad.
So that's it? What, we some kind of suicide squad?
What the fuck?
So yeah, now we have another Suicide Squad film, which is more of a rebranding rather than like a sequel. I mean, technically it is in the same world as the first one, but trust me guys, you don't need to see the first one to understand this one at all. All there is that there are a few characters from the first film that return here, and that's it. The events of the first film aren't even mentioned, so save yourself from watching that garbage and just go straight to this one, because guys, not only is this by far James Gunn's best film, but to me it's probably the best film we've got in the DC universe so far. So you're probably wondering how I've seen this already. That's because the film came out a week earlier in the UK, so we get first dibs on this film, after France anyway. So don't worry, I'm not going to spoil anything, that wasn't already shown in the trailers. So don't worry, you're good. I'm not even going to delve into the plot really, because even that was kept vague with this film. All you really need to know is that the government sends out these disposable villains on a mission to the enemy-infused island of Corto Maltese to retrieve like an important item that holds secretive information. That's basically it without spoiling anything major. So let's start off with what I liked about this film, and that's the characters. You see, James Gunn knows what he's doing when it comes to a band of characters, because he makes them all likable and funny in their own way. Keep in mind that we have probably some of the dumbest DC villains, such as Polka Dot Man and Ratcatcher. I mean, bruh, on paper these are some of the dumbest DC villains, but James Gunn actually makes them work. I guess we could start out with our main lead, which is Bloodsport, played by Idris Elba. He was great in the film. I mean, seriously, Idris needs more roles in movies, man. You're probably thinking, he's just playing the same kind of character that Will Smith played, as Deadshot. Cause he's good with a gun and has a daughter and everything, but no, don't worry guys, Idris is playing a very different character here. I mean, he has a very different personality to Will Smith, and his relationship with his daughter is also very different. Bloodsport also has this little rivalry going on with Peacemaker, because Peacemaker is also a shooter, so they're always trying to like one up each other, and I thought that was pretty funny. And yeah, John Cena was good as Peacemaker as well. He's almost like a parody of Captain America by how patriotic he is. And he was actually funny. Unlike what Marvel tried to do with Red Guardian and Black Widow.
Still fits.
Polka Dot Man was probably the funniest in the whole movie. I mean, not only is his power literal polka dots, fam, but he also has this other ongoing joke in the film, which I will not spoil by the way, but it's very funny. Usually ongoing jokes in films really get old for me, but here it doesn't, because they always do something new with the joke. We have Ratcatcher played by Daniela McQuire. She was surprisingly my favorite character in the whole movie next to Bloodsport, because they actually made her really sympathetic in the movie. Like, she's probably the heart of the whole group. She's basically what the first Suicide Squad tried to do with Diablo, but wasn't cringe.
This is our home!
You put that back where you found it.
I'm taking my kids to Mom's.
You ain't taking my kids nowhere! What?
I also like the friendly relationship she had with Bloodsport and, King Shark. Again, basically what the first Suicide Squad tried to do with Deadshot and Harley Quinn, but it's more believable here. Speaking of Harley Quinn, she also returns in this movie, and yeah, she's actually way better in here than she was in the past 2 movies that she was in. In the first Suicide Squad, she was only really there to say one-liners.
Now that's killer app.
And also to be eye candy, because she's super sexualized.
And in Birds of Prey, not only did I think she was very annoying in that film, but also very tame. Like, even though that film was also like rated R/15, I don't even recall her actually killing anyone in that film. In this film, she's not nearly as annoying as she was before, and she actually has a good brutal fight scene. In Birds of Prey, the fight choreography was very sluggish and not very impactful, but here Harley gets a whole fight scene to herself, and it's probably one of the best fights in the film. King Shark, voiced by Sylvester Stallone, is also in this. Basically think Groot from Guardians of the Galaxy and the Hulk from Thor Ragnarok. That's basically him here. We also have Rick Flag also returns, played by Joel Kinnaman.
This is Katana!
Now, I really didn't care for him in the first one because of how incredibly boring he was.
Her sword traps the souls of its victims. Katana!
And while he overall is better here, I still wasn't really gravitating towards him. I guess he did what he had to do. You know, he's supposed to be the straight man of the squad, you know, to keep them in line and that, I get it. But out of everyone, he's the least interesting to me. In fact, while we're talking about negatives, the main thing I really didn't like about this film is that there really wasn't really a main villain to gravitate to. I mean, I guess the Thinker is supposed to be the main villain, but not really. I mean, he doesn't really do anything in the movie.
There's this Corto Maltese military commander guy, who I guess acts as a main threat in the film, but he was really cliche and forgettable. I don't even remember what his name was. I guess you could also say Starro is the main villain, but honestly he felt more like a final boss type villain you see in video games, and that's it. Maybe that's what they were going for. I don't know.
It's like, I'm not really going to go too deep into it, but yeah, I wish there was a better main villain. Overall, guys, I had a great time with this. You know, the action is good, it's bloody and brutal, that's what we all want to see. It's very funny, as expected with a James Gunn film. And James Gunn brings a lot of well-needed personality to this franchise. And yeah, the film has heart as well, like you really do feel for these characters by the end. See, this is what happens when you get a good director and actually let him do his job, Warner Brothers. Maybe if you let David Ayer make the movie he actually wanted to make, maybe the first Suicide Squad might have turned out decent at least. But yeah, if you're in the UK, it's out right now, so I definitely recommend you see it. To everyone else, when this comes out, make sure you see it on the biggest screen you can. But yeah, that's it from me. Make sure to follow me on Letterboxd to see my thoughts on other films that I see. Link in the description. And if you want to learn filmmaking yourself, join the online filmmaking course, Tomorrow's Filmmakers, because if you join using my link in the description, it will help me too. But yeah, this has been my review of The Suicide Squad. If you enjoyed this review, make sure to like and subscribe. Hit the bell. Have a good day, and God bless.